And as Nigeria joins the rest of the world to celebrate the World Humanitarian Day, a global event commemorated annually to acknowledge the work and risks faced by humanitarian workers around the world, the National Emergency Management Agency joins world leaders to celebrate this year's theme, Act for Humanity, by building public pressure to mobilize member states and non-state actors to ensure protection of humanitarian workers and civilians. The emphasis is on the collective action needed to protect humanitarian workers that are attacked while providing critical assistance to vulnerable populations. Well, I'm joined now by President Jackin NGO, Olubukola Adebiyi. Mr. Adebiyi, thank you for joining us on the news this hour. Let us begin by understanding how your organization contributes to humanitarian work and what precisely this observation mean for you.
Thank you very much. Good evening. Humanitarian Day to me has to do with selfless service. It has to do with celebrating those that give their lives for others to live. It has to do with those that let go of their own comfort zones in order for others to survive. And what we do in Jackin NGO, we've been existing now for 20 years. We're going to be 21 in October this year. Our key focus areas are health, education, and entrepreneurship, and we work with vulnerable population, especially orphans and vulnerable children, widows, people living with disability, people living with HIV, sick people, the elderly, indigent youth, grassroots women. It's about helping them to survive and helping them to close the gaps that make it difficult for them to exist.
So this year's theme highlights the increasing attacks on humanitarian workers, calling for the enforcement of the international humanitarian law. What role do you see government, NGOs, and other critical stakeholders playing in this regard?
We need to be more aggressive. Local NGOs, international NGOs, the governments, individuals, we need to be more aggressive. We need to begin to picture humanitarian aid workers as humans that are giving so much for those that are in critical situations to survive. I think we need to set up aggressive campaigns to let people know that there are lives behind these people we call humanitarian aid workers. We can have documentaries talking about, showcasing the extent of their selfless service. A lot of them have died in the process of saving others, in the process of reaching the vulnerable, those at risk with necessary aid. So there has to be much more than just speaking. We need to act. Also, I think the international community is a bit slow in speaking up for them. People are dying, people are giving their lives in order to reach those that are in critical situations with aid. And you see them just having meetings upon meetings upon meetings while more lives are being lost. So they need to be faster. They need to be more proactive. They need to make more decisions. Yes, the policies are there, but they need to be faster in implementing these policies in order for these people to feel more secured.
All right.
So from my own point of view, the local NGOs, the international NGOs, even corporate organizations can do a lot more than just having the humanitarian day set up for them. We need to begin to let the world know a lot more about what they are going through in order for others to survive.
Olubukola Adebiyi, President Jackin NGO, thank you for talking to us on the news tonight.
Thank you.
Meanwhile, the National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced and a non-governmental organization, HAM, has called on all political players to intensify efforts in protecting humanitarian workers and civilians in the conflict zone. Muyo Thomas reports.
The 1948 Geneva Convention mandates the protection of humanitarian workers, medical personnel, and everyone not participating in hostilities. This year's commemoration of World Humanitarian Day is to remind all, especially non-state actors, of the need to preserve the lives of essential workers in conflict zones and a call for help in rehabilitating affected people.
We have seen a disturbing trend of increasing attacks on those who are there to help. In recent years, countries across Africa have witnessed violation of these protocols. For example, in South Sudan, 8 workers have been targeted, abdicated, and killed, with impunity prevailing.
We need to come together. We need to join our hands together to making sure that we make the world a better place. It's a global call that everybody needs to join hands, no matter the position. Political office holders should do more.
This Humanitarian Day is literally to awake people, to make sure that every single year you wake people up to say that, look, you may be okay, but there are many others who are not okay. And you need to come out, with whatever small compassion that you can do to reach out to these people.
The increase in global crisis has in turn increased the number of persons of concern, shrinking the global funding. The Federal Commissioner says the Nigerian government has made plans to address some of these challenges.
There was an increase in this 2024 budget as against the previous budgets that we used to have to cater for the peoples of concern.
The theme for the 2024 World Humanitarian Day is Act for Humanity. This emphasizes the clarion call already made for everyone in Nigeria to speak out, stand up, including raising resources for the cause of the people of concern in the country. Muya Thomas, TVC News, Abuja.